Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share with you something a little bit personal about me and my journey to losing weight. I want to tell you guys about my struggles and the realizations that I came to and how I came up with the Glow Fast method, which I mentioned in my previous video. So this video is a bit personal. There's no technical, maybe I'll put some technical stuff in there, but I just want to share some of the things that I feel like people don't talk about when it comes to weight loss, and especially after 35 and the struggles, right? There's just so much noise out there about what needs to be done, and I think that weight loss, once you know what to do, weight loss is simple, and there are steps that you can take to lose the weight. But in the weight loss industry and in the fitness industry and in the health industry, I feel like weight loss has been fragmented, and people talk about certain components and they don't talk about the body as a whole. And you have to look at the body as a whole when you're trying to lose weight, okay? So my story, when I was 35, I went to the doctor and my weight was up. I wasn't paying attention to my weight. I had been busy trying to grow my business. This was during like the pandemic. And obviously as a business owner and as a breadwinner, I needed to do whatever I needed to do to be able to put food on the table and take care of my babies. And I put my weight and my health on the back burner until I went for my physical, and my doctor was like, hey, you're close to being pre-diabetic, you need to lose weight. And I had been having other complaints as well. I was dealing with recurring infections. I was dealing with issues with my menstrual cycle. My periods were super heavy, and honestly, my life just felt like hell because I didn't feel like I had a good day, maybe 2 or 3 days out of the month where I could have like clarity in my brain, and then everything else was just terrible. Like I had cramps, I had stomach pain, I was constantly sick, I was tired, I was snapping all the time. And so it wasn't like something that you could go to the doctor and get blood work and they would say, oh, this is the reason why. And so the only thing was that my weight was up and I was close to being pre-diabetic. And so the doctor was like, all right, generic answer, you need to eat more vegetables, you need to cut back on red meat, and then you need to exercise and lose weight. And that's a generic answer. I'm a doctor, and that doesn't necessarily work, right? Like if you haven't struggled with weight, it's difficult, in my opinion, to give good weight loss advice. And so what we're taught in school generically is just, cut your calories and move more, right? Eat less, move more. And it's not that simple, okay? So I went on this journey to figure it out. What did I do? I tried everything, everything that you can think of. I tried keto. That did not work. I tried low carb. That did not work for long term. I was also breastfeeding for a period of time. So like my body took time to adjust to like the decrease in calories. But I did cut calories. I did low carb. I did keto. I did fasting. I did exercise. Oh my God, the exercise almost killed me. So I went to a personal trainer, and the exercise style was strength training, but HIIT style. So it was super duper intense. And I would do one workout, and then the rest of the week I would get sick. And then I would do another workout, and then the rest of the week I was sick. So I was just like, okay, this is not working for me. I need to figure this out for myself. And so when I decided to do a lot of research, and this research took me like almost 2 years to figure out, I realized that the fact that I was so there were a few reasons why I was struggling to lose weight. The first reason was that I was in a perimenopausal state. And so this wasn't that I was in perimenopause, but because I had had 2 pregnancies and I had breastfed for a period of time, during that time when I was breastfeeding, my body was in a pseudo-menopausal state. And so when your body is in menopause, your hormones are not back to normal, right? Things are a little bit off. And if you're in perimenopause or you're in menopause, you know that you struggle to lose weight during that time. So I was in that state, right? I had had 2 pregnancies and 2 long periods of breastfeeding, and that had contributed to my weight gain. And also for me personally, the only reason why I was able to breastfeed was the only way I could breastfeed was if I ate a lot of carbs, right? So I ended up eating quite a bit of carbs to be able to produce for my babies. So that was one thing. And then the other thing was the fact that I was insulin resistant, right? And so I have another previous video where I talk in depth about insulin resistance, but the bottom line is that insulin resistance is a two-part problem. One part is that my insulin levels were high, so I had hyperinsulinemia. And then the second problem I had was that I had insulin receptor dysfunction. And so many things that can cause insulin receptor dysfunction. For me, I think that one of the biggest reasons why I was having that was because, one, I was deficient in a key mineral. So I was deficient in iron. And I was deficient in iron because of two reasons. One, like I mentioned before, I was having a lot of bleeding, excessive bleeding. And so I was losing iron in that way. And two, I was also struggling with fibroids. And fibroids, if you have fibroids, you know that that can cause iron deficiency anemia. So I had a vitamin deficiency that needed to be fixed, and that was partially why I was always tired, right? If you don't have iron, then your blood is just not working properly. And iron is important for your blood to carry nutrients to different parts of the body for the body to heal itself. So I had to fix the iron problem. And then the other thing that I was dealing with was I was dealing with a lot of inflammation. So at baseline, I have a chronic inflammatory condition. So inflammation is not something that is completely gone in my body. I deal with inflammation. I take medication to keep it suppressed. But even with medication, I still was inflamed. So I had to get to the root of that inflammation and figure out why I was struggling with inflammation. And they all ended up being the same issue. So when we talk about inflammation, there's two main things that I talk about in the previous video. You can watch a long video, but it's either due to fat or having a lot of fat cells that die, or it's due to poor gut health. And in my case, I think it had to do with poor gut health. So gut health is important for hormones, it's important for so many different things. And if your gut is out of whack, then nothing is going to work, right? So those are the two main things that I had to fix. I had to fix my gut, and that was where I started. And I had to fix my hormones. No, not my hormones. I had to fix my gut, and I had to replenish iron. So one of the things that I started to do was I would eat a lot of organ meat. So I started eating liver. When I was a teenager, my grandmother used to make me eat liver, and I used to hate it because I was like, oh my God, this is disgusting. What I didn't realize was liver contains so many key minerals and vitamins, and iron is one of them: copper, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D. So beef liver is actually very nutritious. It's like nature's vitamin, like multivitamin. So I started eating beef liver. I think I did that almost like I did it every week, the week before my period, for like 3 months. And I slowly started to see improvement in my energy levels, right? So I knew that my iron levels were getting better. Because for me personally, I couldn't take iron pills because I was having gut issues. And so I knew if I took iron pills, I would have constipation. And I was already dealing with constipation, diarrhea. So I didn't want to screw that up. So I was like, I'm going to focus on doing this with just the natural way, without any medications. So that's why I decided to do beef liver. And so once I did that, then the next thing I had to do was work on the inflammation in my gut. So personally, I have histamine issues, so I had to go through the foods I was eating and figure out what foods were high histamine foods and what were not, and then what I could tolerate. And so I basically kind of did an elimination diet, and then I figured out the protein sources that my stomach was happy with and the ones that it wasn't happy with. So I eliminated some protein sources, and then I eliminated a lot of vegetables. There's still some that I can eat, but most of them don't agree with me. And so that now I have like a list of foods that I can eat that make my gut happy, and I still am able to take care of my gut. So one of the things with gut health is you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria, and you have to feed the good guys, right? And typically the good guys, you can feed them by giving them fiber. So I do eat some fiber in my diet. Most of my diet fiber comes from fruits and legumes as well. Some legumes, not all of them, because I can't tolerate all of them. And then one of the other things that you can do for your gut is you can give it a break. So I do practice intermittent fasting, and that has definitely helped to calm my stomach down. And during fasting, your body goes into healing mode anyways, so that really helped with healing my gut. And then the last thing that I did was I cut back on sugar and processed foods so that it wouldn't feed the bad bacteria. So that was what I did to fix my gut. So I fixed the iron issues, then I fixed my stomach issues. And just by doing that, I was able to lose 10 pounds. I didn't initially go in trying to lose weight, because sometimes and this is something that I say to patients and to clients, you need to be healthy enough to lose weight, right? Because weight is like a symptom of a deeper problem. And so if the deeper problem is inflammation, then you need to fix the inflammation. If the deeper problem is like insulin resistant or hyperinsulinemia, then you need to bring your sugar levels down or your insulin levels down. So it's always important to know what the deeper issue is. And if you address the deeper issue, then the symptoms of the issue will then resolve itself, right? So the symptoms that I was dealing with was I gained weight and I was having issues with my hormones. My estrogen levels were high, which is why I was having the downstream effect of having iron being low, and I was having a lot of inflammation, right? So once I fixed the core problem, which was replenishing the iron, fixing the inflammation, and bringing my sugar levels down or my insulin down, then I was able to lose weight. And all of this happened without me doing even any exercise, right? And so once I did that, then now I added exercise. And the exercise, at least in the beginning, was more for my mental health. So I would do a 30-minute walk in the morning as soon as I wake up, and that really helped to just set the tone for the day. It set the tone that in the morning when I wake up, the first thing that I do is I take care of myself. And it helped me understand that I was the most important person in this entire world, okay? And if I can take care of myself and I can fill my cup, then I can help my kids, then I can help my patients, and I can help other people. And I think this is the mistake that a lot of people make. They wake up and they start to react to the world and to things outside of themselves, and they don't focus enough on the internal side. And this is part of the issue people deal with weight, because even though weight loss is about losing weight on the outside, a lot of times the weight is more of the weight that's going on inside. Is the internal struggles that you've been dealing with, an accumulation of energy, which is fat, right? That has not been serving you. And so when you go on a weight loss journey, you have to be prepared to do the things necessary to lose the weight. And the biggest thing that you need to do is you need to let go of the mental struggle, of the mental pain, and you need to heal from that. So it's not just eat healthy and exercise, it's also work on your brain, work on your mind, and let go of the things that no longer serve you. So I had to do all three things, and those are I think one of the biggest things that people deal with is that they only focus on the outside things, which is the movement and the food, and they don't deal with the inside stuff, which is working on your mindset, working on your beliefs, working on your self-talk, your self-love, your self-respect. People don't respect themselves internally, right? Because if you did, you would keep your promises to yourself. You would take care of your body. You would do the things necessary for you to be you. And it's really not your fault, because there's just so many things that happen outside of you that make you think that focusing on the outside is more important, right? If you're raised, most of the time we are raised to think that the outside is more important than the inside. And so we forget who we are. And again, the side effect of that is you get sick or you gain weight or whatever. And so part of the weight loss journey that I had to figure out was how to love myself again, how to respect myself again, how to keep my word to myself again. And that was personally, and to me, the most critical part, because if you watch my previous video, I talk about the fact that if you don't have good mental health, or brain health rather, then you cannot have good results, right? Because your brain tells your body to do an action, right? And so you have to have a healthy brain that can tell your body to do healthy things, such as eat healthy foods or move your body. And if your brain is not able to do that, then you're not going to do the things you need to do. And you might do it for a little bit, but it will not last, because again, the brain is the thing that needs to change. So in order to lose weight, for me personally, I had to remove my old programming. I had to remove focusing on people outside of myself, even my kids. My kids come after me, because again, if my cup is empty, how am I going to serve my kids? I won't have the love that I want to give them, right? So I have to put the love back into myself. So I had to love myself more. And how do I prove that I love myself? I had to start eating the foods that were good for me. I had to start moving my body, right? I had to start talking to myself in a very nice way, and I would not say mean things to myself. I had to start respecting myself and saying, hey, you know what, you did that. You know, I was encouraging myself. I was just treating myself better. And once I did that, and I think it takes time, right? And sometimes you need guidance, and I did get guidance in that. But once I did that, I was really able to lose the weight. And so if you lose weight and then you tend to gain it back, a lot of times the reason why that happens is because you haven't sorted out the brain component of it. You're only doing the actions of food or nutrition and exercise, which is what everybody tells you to do, but they don't tell you about the brain health component. So if you want to successfully lose weight, you need to work on your brain health, and you need to work on the food that you eat, and you need to work on the movement, okay? I have a longer video that I'm going to link up here that explains why all of that has to work together. But that was what I realized for me. And at the end of it, what happened was I was able to get my iron levels back to normal. I was able to have normal periods. I don't even have PMS anymore. I barely have cramps. Like, I'll have like a little nudge, but I don't need to take medication anymore. I only bleed for 3 days now versus like 7 days that were like heavy and making me dizzy. Like, everything normalized to the point where now I actually like, I don't even pay attention to my period. I'm like, oh, it's like, it just shows up. I'm like, oh, okay, welcome. But it just doesn't take up the space in my head anymore. I don't get constantly sick anymore. I mean, I have kids, they go to daycare and everything, but like, they come back and I might just feel a little bit down, and then the next day it's gone. And for me, it's like kind of a miracle. But I was able to get my health back, and I was able to lose 25 pounds, and I'm still losing weight slowly but surely till I get to my goal. But the quality of my life has changed so much because I was able to take the actions necessary to lose the weight. And I think that only happens when you work on your brain health and you work on your mind, okay? And again, I had help throughout this entire process. And so I think that if you're going to do something like this, it makes sense to have someone to help guide you through the process. And so if you're interested in losing weight and you want to lose weight, because not everybody wants to lose weight, right? Some people are happy with their weight, and that's fine. But I only want to work with people who want to lose weight, who want to work on their hormones, who want to work on having a healthy brain so that they can have healthy actions. And the actions are not just in the health realm, it can also be in the wealth realm as well. If your brain is not healthy, you're not going to produce wealth, right? You're not going to produce healthy things, right? And so if you want someone to help you through the process, then I will leave my information below. You can apply to work with me, and I hope that that will be good for you. It's basically, I have different options. I have one-on-one coaching and I have group coaching. And for the group coaching, obviously we do live sessions, and you have a community that you can work with, someone you can have an accountability partner, things like that. So if this sounds like something that's interesting to you and you want a guide to help you with weight loss, then book a call, and I will see you on the next video. And also, if you want to learn the more in-depth version of what I'm talking about here, check out my previous video. It's an hour long, but I promise you it explains the entirety of my thought process and my research into how to lose weight and keep it off. All right, I'll see you in the next video.